The traditional education system was designed for the industrial era when the priority was to train employees for factories and offices, not entrepreneurs. Here are some key reasons. Outdated educational model. Schools follow a system created over a century ago, focused on discipline, obedience, and repetitive tasks, ideal for administrative or industrial jobs. Lack of teachers with business experience. Many teachers have never started a business themselves, so they cannot teach what they haven't experienced. A focus on job stability over risk-taking. We are educated to seek financial stability through employment rather than to take risks and create businesses. Rigid evaluation methods. Schools assess students with objective criteria, exams, grades, but entrepreneurship is uncertain and doesn't have right or wrong answers. Government and corporate interests. Governments benefit from a workforce with stable jobs that consistently pays taxes. Many companies also prefer employees over potential competitors. ### the issue, we weren't trained to be entrepreneurs. One of the biggest problems is that 99% of us were never educated to become entrepreneurs. It happens regardless of age, gender, or the type of business one wants to start. Every week, we meet highly educated, intelligent, and talented people who freeze when faced with the challenge of starting a business. Why does this happen? Is there anything we can do to change it? ***. ### the root of the fear of entrepreneurship. We've all heard authors talk about how the education system was designed for a different time, how schools were created to train workers for industry or to fill gaps in skilled labor. That might make us think these problems are a thing of the past. But that would be a mistake. People of all ages and backgrounds experience this. Some finished school less than 5 years ago, while others did so over 50 years ago. Most of us fall somewhere in between. No matter where you are, ask yourself these 2 questions. 1. How many times did you seriously consider starting a business while in school or university? 2. If you ever did, was it because of what your teachers told you? Or was it because you heard those ideas elsewhere? For 80% of us, the answer to the first question is never. We were too busy trying to get good grades, get into college, or secure a well-paying job. Among the remaining 20%, 19% would answer the second question with, because I heard it outside of school. Perhaps from a friend, a book, or a conference. And the final 1% are those lucky and privileged enough to have attended highly innovative private institutions that trained their students to think like entrepreneurs. The rest of us never considered entrepreneurship because we were too busy running a different race. Take a moment to think about what your concerns were when you finished school. What were your aspirations? I remember being asked to create both a current and an imaginary resume, envisioning what I wanted my future CV to look like. I eagerly completed it, partly because I wanted a good grade, and partly because I enjoyed imagining my future. My imaginary CV followed a clear step-by-step path: go to university and get excellent grades. With that, earn a scholarship to study abroad. There, I would land a job at an international company and spend a few years traveling and working hard. Then, I would request a transfer back to Argentina. Not for a second did I think about writing about starting my own business. Nor do I believe my teacher would have expected it. Entrepreneurship, within the current educational system, is an act of rebellion. One day, I was talking to a friend who worked at a shoe store. She was there almost all day and earned very little. She would leave for work early, come home, take a shower, have dinner, and go to bed. That was her routine for most of the week. She was practically living for her employer because, from what I saw, she didn't enjoy her life. One time, we went out for ice cream, and I asked her if she wouldn't rather have her own business instead of working there for such low pay. I told her that with a business, she could earn more while working less. She replied that no, she was fine at her job. I was a little surprised and asked her, "Wouldn't you like to have a business where you earn 3 times what you make now?" She answered that she didn't like business, that she preferred jobs because they provided Social Security, healthcare benefits. Honestly, I found her response amusing because it seemed unthought out. I told her, if you had a business that made you good money, why would you need Social Security? With what your business brings in, you could afford private health insurance that's even better than what you have now. She fell silent, as if she didn't fully understand what I was saying. The employee mindset starts at home and in school. My friend's case is very common. But the question is, where do people learn this mindset of being employees for life, thinking that Social Security is all they need? I'm not trying to criticize employees or jobs. Of course not, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being employed. But I do wonder, why don't more people aspire to start a business so they can stop depending on a job? There are many reasons, of course, lack of money, experience, or even an idea of what to sell. But I believe the biggest reason is the mindset that has been instilled in us at home and in school. Think about what parents usually tell their children. Do they say, study hard so you can start a great company? No. Instead, they say, study hard so you can get a good job. I once read an acronym for the word employment, and it really made me think. Why do we go to school? And it's true. We go to school to study and become excellent professionals so that we can then join a big company and work to generate wealth. But who do you think takes most of the profit? The employees who work the hardest? The ones who put in overtime? The employee of the month? Of course not. The profits go to the shareholders or the owner. Again, much of this comes down to our mindset. We go to school thinking about getting a degree so we can land a good job. But do we ever go to school thinking, I'm studying so I can start my own company? The common thought process of students. A medical student thinks about getting their degree so they can work at a prestigious clinic, instead of thinking about opening their own practice. A psychology student aims to graduate and find a good position in HR or at a clinic, rather than becoming an excellent and recognized psychologist with their own office. A business administration student studies to become an administrator at a major company, instead of planning to finish school and start their own business. Of course, not everyone thinks this way, but most do. And this is a direct result of the mindset that has been implanted in us. For example, I remember hearing teachers say, in the real world, when you're working, you can't make this mistake. But I never heard a teacher say, in the real world, when you have your own business, you can't make this mistake. Being an employee isn't bad. Now, is being an employee a bad thing? Of course not. In fact, we need employees, because if everyone were an entrepreneur, who would we hire? Is studying and getting a degree bad? Not at all, but it's far better to go to university not to find a job, but to create jobs, to start our own businesses. Of course, it's not easy. Many employees receive severance pay and lose everything by starting a business that eventually fails. What I'm saying is that we need to think beyond just employment. We should see being an employee as a step to save capital and later start a business. We should develop entrepreneurial skills, not just employee skills. And we should stop telling our children to study so they can be someone in life and get a good job. Because, first of all, it's not only those who study who are someone in life. And second, it's better to prepare them to start a business than to simply find a job. Not everything in life is possible, of course. But one path is better than the other. And if there's a chance to move up, why not take it? If you enjoyed our content, if you liked our content, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Remember, it's free, and by doing so, you help us continue creating high-quality content for you. See you soon.